And we're live. There we are. Welcome back, cosmonauts. Today we have a very exciting episode, and I think this one is tailored for anybody that is interested in Cosmos from a builder's perspective, anybody that wants to learn about how to build on Cosmos, how IBC works, because we're going to be talking with the team behind the Interchain Developer Academy, which is a free 7-week program that teaches you all about Cosmos, all about IBC, all about the Interchain stack. And it's a very cool thing, I think, especially to onboard developers into the ecosystem, which is the most important thing for any crypto project. So I'm joined by Serdar, who actually went through the program and is a graduate and now works as an IBC engineer. Also joined by Ali, which I think some of you might have seen in the past. I think you have an extensive journey in Cosmos and now are DevRel at Informal. Also been at Cosmoverse, so some people might be familiar with your face from last year, Medellin. And then we have Silali, who is from B9 Lab, which is the education partner of the Interchain Academy, Interchain Developer Academy, which is a program that is funded, in my perception, funded and basically managed by the Interchain Foundation. So first question, maybe first of all, thank you everybody for being here. First question for Sidlali, maybe to start off, can you share a little bit about the program itself, what it is, how it came together, and just a little bit about the origin story and the purpose on a high level before we go into details?
Definitely. So the Interchain Developer Academy started a while ago. It all started with the Interchain Foundation and B9 Lab. We've been around in the blockchain space doing educational programs, especially targeted for developers. So getting Web 2 and Web 3 developers into new stack. It started out of a conversation of needing developers in the ecosystem and of course needing developers that are trained very well, because in the end, all blockchain ecosystems live off their developers and what they do with the stack. So we have been doing this for a while. It all started off with a general developer portal just to make resources available and make kind of learning content more graspable outside of documentation and GitHub repositories that we all love. And last year we started doing supported cohorts. So when you join the Interchain Developer Academy, there is not only learning content to go through and quizzes and exercises and a final exam with a certificate, hopefully at the end waiting for you, but also you get to have chats with our expert instructors that are there to answer all the questions around using the stack. And now we are almost kicking off the 4th cohort already. So up till now, we have had 550 developers going through the program with a very high 97% approval rate. So everyone has been very happy. And probably Serdar can tell you more about being on the other side, not the instructor, but more of the mentee and the participant in the program. But overall, as you said, 7 weeks, it's completely free of charge because the ICF is funding it. And it's self-paced. So wherever you're based or however, whenever you want to work on it, you can work on it. We assume about 10 hours of dedication per developer to go through it. And then if you want to, you can take the final exam. And if you do submit a final exam that fulfills all requirements, then you get to walk away with a certificate and be part of a big alumni community.
Can you also share a little bit about B9 Lab and like your Cosmos journey?
Sure. So I'm a project manager, so a non-developer. Got into Cosmos pretty quickly as soon as we started talking with the ICF. B9 Lab in general comes from a drive already in the early days of Ethereum to make education for developers available, just because usually developers are self-taught. And of course, Serdar and Ali can probably also confirm this. It always happens with, let's take a look at the repository and documentation, and then you invest a lot of time and have many questions and try out a lot of things. So the general mission at B9 Lab has always been to support developers in their education and in their learning journey, and show how exciting the blockchain space can be and what you can do. So the company has been around for a while. We've done programs and education programs with other stack, but the Cosmos has excited us from day one, and we've been around for a while now in the Cosmos, in the Interchain ecosystem.
Maybe Ali, you can share, since you've been around in Cosmos for a long time, and maybe just share a little bit about, first of all, maybe how you got into Cosmos in the first place, but also what's Informal's role in that program, and what is your personal role in the program?
Yeah, sure. So, well, first of all, thank you for hosting this live stream. So my journey into Cosmos started back in 2019 when I was doing some research on how can I create my own sovereign blockchain. So I come from an Ethereum background. So back in 2017, I used to work as a smart contract developer, and then slowly grew out of Ethereum and then into Cosmos. My first actually company in Cosmos was SwiftChain, and then later I moved to AIB and briefly to Akash before joining Informal. So the part that so my part at Informal Systems is basically develop relations engineer for Common BFT, which I think Common BFT serves as one of the primary core pieces of the Interchain stack. So it basically forms the fundamental of the whole blockchain ecosystem, right? So you cannot have any blockchain function without the core consensus layer. And I think that depicts our part the most one of the most important parts of the entire stack. To the second part of your question, so just wanted to briefly touch upon our vision and then how it coincides with the larger vision of the Interchain stack. So so this is actually something from my personal experience, right? So when I joined the Cosmos ecosystem back in 2019, it was sort of in a mess. The documentations were not correct, not in place. It was hard to find a lot of things. And I think with programs like the IDA, things have become such more simple to onboard, and you can actually if someone has been long enough in the ecosystem, they can actually compare this and see for someone who's non-Cosmos there, joining the ecosystem is now becomes so much more easier. There's better dev support. Community has grown and evolved a lot, has become more mature. So I think overall the onboarding process has improved significantly from when I joined back.
I personally think the thing in Cosmos is that since there's not one organization that runs everything, a lot of people have problems trying to get into the ecosystem, right? Whether that's from a developer perspective or even for investors, right? Sometimes people hit me up hey, can you connect me to the executive board of Cosmos? And I'm there is no executive board, right? It's an ecosystem of sovereign entities and organizations, which is why I'm very happy and bullish that this program exists now. I think it's much needed and has strong demand. I think, Silal, you already mentioned 550 people that went through the program, right? So I think, Serdar, this may be a good turn to you. Since you went through the program, how did you first hear about it? How did you get into it? And maybe share some of the key highlights of the program itself and how it was from a participation perspective.
Yeah, so I first heard about the program, I think through some of my friends in Secret Network, because before expanding into wider Cosmos, I was actually developing smart contracts on Secret Network. So over there, I'm also subscribed to Cosmos Discord channels. So there's various channels I was informed about the academy, but I didn't really know much beyond developing smart contracts. So just Cosmosm and some tooling around that, but not really, how the modules work, how the SDK really works. And I did want to branch out from Secret Network to other ecosystems and other places. And so that's why I decided to take Interchain Academy. the content looked organized like very well. So I have to decide if this is a good use of time, right? Because it's 7 weeks and you need to spend a lot of time. But like after doing some research, I realized that this was like a very good program. It's basically like going through the docs, but you are allowed to ask a ton more questions. There's ton more community support, and it's organized to a course. So you're not just randomly finding what you need, but it's organized as like a user journey. So for me, that was like, okay, this program is exactly what I need to be able to expand beyond Secret Network. And yeah, so that's how I did. I think the highlights of it for me were like some of the people that I met as well, like the instructors, I guess the helpers, because yeah, one of them was Thomas from Interchain, which is he's in the IBC team. And when I actually did apply for a job at the ICF, I think he said something. Oh, I'm glad he applied because he knew me from the discussions we had in the course. So it's actually a good opportunity for people to network as well with some of the people working in other ecosystems, or that in the future some of the students might also want to become builders. So you can find a team there as well. Yeah.
You just said that it's quite time intense. Obviously, since it's only a 7-week program and you learn all of that, I'm sure that's the case. Like, how much time did you invest, I guess, per week? Like, how many courses, like how many classes do you have? And is that something, because I get this question a lot from people that are, they have jobs in Web 2, maybe they work at a software development company somewhere, but they really want to get into, working full-time in Cosmos, for example. But they don't know if it's, worth taking the risk, because obviously mindset-wise, crypto is this wild industry where you don't know, like, do you get a job afterwards? This is going to be worth the investment in time, resources, and energy. So how much time did you invest? And like after how many days, I guess, did you notice that, okay, this is fun, like this is cool, and like I said, you learn a lot from other people, you also meet other people. Like how was that experience for you? And yeah, maybe you can share a little bit about how much time you actually spent on.
So in terms of the time, this course is, I think, mainly self-paced. So there are no live courses that you have to attend in specific times. So that means what you have to do is basically complete certain tasks by certain dates. Even though if you don't complete it, I don't think there's necessarily a punishment, but the idea is that by the final exam, you should have gone through all the content and understand the material to be able to solve the final exam. So it really depends on like your programming ability and how much Cosmos background knowledge you have as well. For me, I would say maybe on average I spent between 5 to 7 hours a week. So it's not like a very big time commitment in my opinion. If you have less developer experience, you can spend up to 10 hours. But if you're a good developer, you can even, I think, spend much less time than that. So I think that's what I would say for the time use. What else did you ask me again?
I also wanted to ask, in that context, maybe what is the actual target audience? And this question can also be for Sidlali or Ali, but maybe Sarah, you can also share like how much of knowledge do you need to bring to get started there, to not get completely lost on day one? Is it for blockchain developers, or can it also be for like just non-blockchain but normal developers, or what's
I think the course is for like even if you have no blockchain experience, that's good, because I think the first week, like I think even the first 2 weeks, you don't really enter into development. You're just learning background information on first blockchains and then second Cosmos. And I think if a developer is questioning that whether or not they should take it because blockchain is risky, it's like a crazy industry, whatever, I think this is the best introduction that like you can have to make a decision whether or not you want to be in this industry. Like from all the educational content or like I guess courses I've seen online that's free, this is by far the best and the most detailed one in my opinion to understand how blockchain works, and how, like, to get the understanding of developing on a certain ecosystem. I think this is like a great way to decide if you want to work on blockchain. Yeah.
I just wanted to like make a really quick point. So one thing I think for like developers, if you have some basic knowledge of Go, I think it should be good to start off with. And then one other thing is like one of the things that I love about this program is it's not only an opportunity for like for people to get jobs in Cosmos, which I think is like one of the benefits, but also like you have an opportunity to like meet with people and like kind of think of starting your own company or like your own solve a problem that like leads to forming an own company or something bigger in Cosmos. So I think like that opens up a lot of different options from this program.
Maybe from an instructor perspective, so to say. So the target audience really is, you do not have to have any blockchain knowledge to join the course. As Serta said, we have a little bit of an introduction into blockchain. So general concepts, what is a consensus mechanism? What is a protocol? How does this all work? Before we kind of dive into the Cosmos specifics. Overall, what we always like to say, about 3 years of coding experience are good, just because if you're really just starting to develop, you might not want to become a blockchain developer right away. But if you're joining from Web2 space, then it's no problem at all. We do have a little bit of a screening test for the participants, just because we want to make sure that whoever gets into the program is set up for success and not failure. But even if it comes to Go, we provide an introduction into the programming language, and you always have your expert instructors to reach out to in case you run into a problem and go like, I tried this out multiple times and it's not working and I don't know why. Then you have a very experienced, seasoned blockchain developer that has encountered any type of issues and can kind of help you navigate through those stumbling blocks that usually you're a little left alone when you do it by yourself.
Can you maybe name some of the instructors that like experts that guide you through that program? Are these people from the ICF mostly, or?
So most of them that you will encounter in first level support if you do join the program are Benign Lab expert instructors. We have on the team Xavier, feel free to check out the website, by the way, but we have on the team Xavier, who has a lot of experience with Ethereum and already once blockchain started off and has been around for what feels ages in the blockchain space. And also Arnold on the team, who has worked a lot with the Linux Foundation initiatives, Hyperledger Fabric, Sawtooth, even Zero Knowledge Proof. And Rob, who has a lot of developer experience overall and also has been used to be, if I'm not mistaken, one of our former students too, and they have done everything from stuff like Hyperledger Fabric, even a little bit of EOS, Ethereum, Corda, and with R3, and all different types of different tech stacks. So all very seasoned and all always ready to go. But what they enjoy most about their job is the interaction with the students, to be honest. And then, of course, in the channels, every once in a while, you will also see, as Sarah did, someone from the ICF or the Interchain GmbH or some other a core contributor in the ecosystem that willingly helps navigate the questions that sometimes go very into detail, because yes, our students challenge us every day, which is wonderful because we enjoy it. So it's a little bit of a learning experience with them too, just discovering what they all discover and the little fault lines and feedback that they have when it comes to the stack.
How big are the cohorts actually? Like how many students are there per in a group?
Yeah, so the first 3 cohorts were tackled to 150 to 100 participants, which is quite a large group. This time around for the 4th cohort, we are hoping to get 300 people on the program, just because in accordance with the ICF, we all feel we want to get more developers into the ecosystem and we want to give more people the chance to take the cohort.
Do you guys also, or maybe Alia, you want to add something?
Yeah, just a really quick point on the support side. I think Chitali like explained that very well. But like add something small. So like I should like describe B9 Labs as like the first line of defense for like most of the questions, and then You also have like specific contributors, like someone from SDK team and IBC team who's always there. And like from CompBFT side, I will be there to like answer questions for like specifically about CompBFT or Tendermint or consensus, etc. So like if you're joining this program, feel free to like ask questions, even if it's like not related to not very specifically related to CompBFT or Tendermint. Like you can still ask those questions to me or direct them to me, because I've worked extensively with SDK and IBC before, so I might be able to help you with that as well. So
We
just
already
want to
got
like
the
open this up to like everyone.
We already got the first person interested to sign up for the cohort for the next one. I think we can get into this later. I was like, while you were talking, I was also thinking about hackathons, right? I think Solana, they're killing it with their developer onboarding, with physical events all around the world. They have these super teams all around. They do giant hackathons. So is that also something that you guys are planning at some point to do, like physical cohorts or like hackathons? Or
Well, we have done physical course programs in B9Lab history. We haven't so far with Cosmos. I'm sure we would enjoy it. So far, the cohorts have always been online self-paced training, just because we want to make sure that from everywhere around the world people can join. But there is no reason not to do it. I know that there are always amazing events and hackathons going around in the ecosystem overall, because it's a very active ecosystem that likes to reach out to their community. But it's a great idea. So we might want to spread the word in case there's interest. Yes, why not do it?
Yeah,
We want to like take some inspiration from like Solana Hacker House and ETH Global. Like both of them do a fantastic job in like promoting their respective ecosystems. I think even Polkadot like has such a cohort that runs once in a year. That's like live in person. So we might want to like draw some inspiration from these ecosystems.
yeah, and we're also talking before we went live that for this year's Cosmos would be great to also get you guys involved somehow, because we also want to make a full-on developer experience, right? Because Ali, you were there last year at Cosmos, and I think you can really tell that just attending this conference with like 1,000+ people, a lot of them are developers, and Cosmos, I think, is an ecosystem of builders and innovators and researchers and developers, right? So I think just doubling down on that, especially now as we're coming out of this bear market, I think there's a lot of people that want to start building in an ecosystem that specializes on interoperability. I think that's also a very hot topic. And IBC, I think, is the flagship protocol in Cosmos that really differentiates itself to other ecosystems. So how much of a role does that actually play? Like, is IBC a focus of the program, or is there any focus, or do you just touch on everything in general? Maybe Sarah, you can share about that since you went through the program.
Yeah. So what I feel about it is IBC is not like a big focus of the course, but it's more about touching a lot of things in Cosmos. But the main points is that you basically go through and create your own blockchain, and you do use IBC. So it's not like you are not trained on IBC. You essentially create a checkers blockchain, and then you create a leaderboard blockchain, and then you use IBC to sync up this sync up the leaderboard with the checkers blockchain and etc. And you do token transfers. So IBC is a big part of the course. The only reason I didn't say it's not specifically focused on IBC is because if you dive deep into these topics, it really goes deeper. Like it's what I mean is it's not the most cutting edge stuff that you learn, because after you complete the course, if you want to get into more specifics, then you will need to go learn other things on your own, because the version used in the course is IBC version 3. Currently, IBC is at version 7, and most blockchains are on version 4. So I will say it does teach you the basics of IBC and how to create your own applications that use IBC, but not the most cutting edge stuff like middleware or other kind of clients and etc. Yeah.
I mean, it's also only a 7-week course, right? So I'm sure like
That's true.
You can go in depth for all these things.
I think if we want to do an in-depth version for IBC, we might have to add a couple of weeks in there. But as Serta said, it's basically for you to kind of onboard, know your way around, and then from there, once you finish the course, you can dive as much deeper as you want. Of course, we keep on updating the content material, so always striving to kind of put new things in there that are interesting. But to a certain degree, we always go like, damn, it's only 7 weeks. Now we have to make the cutoff. And then that's kind of where the ecosystem and also the general developer portal kind of feeds in, because it takes you from there and then you can find resources how to dive deeper, because IBC by itself is, of course, a universe to discover.
There's a good question in that context from Mad Scientist. After completing the course, would I be able to develop a payment system on Cosmos? I think that might be a good question for Sarah. Like, how confident did you feel after completing the course to say, I'm ready to build an application? Like, would you say that like you would have been ready to build something like after completing the course, or?
Well, the way I felt right after completing the course is yes, I felt like I could build anything on Cosmos, like because the basics were there. But I even did try to build something right after. But my mistake was I really wanted to use the cutting edge stuff, like the latest Cosmos SDK version and etc. And I realized that quickly that like some of the tools used in the course don't work anymore. But at least because I understood the structure, I was able to create a proof of concept stuff and get things to compile. So I would say if you like for a payment processing thing that doesn't need to use the latest feature, I think you could do it for sure. But the only reason I'm saying like I'm not sure because I don't know what Coinbase Commerce is like. I'm not from the US, so I don't really use Coinbase. But you could certainly build a lot of applications just from the knowledge in the course, unless like you're doing some very cutting edge stuff, which is not like not like most applications. You could write, something like Stargaze. You could write something like a lot of the blockchains you think about aren't like you could create them with the knowledge you get in the course.
Yeah, definitely. Just because we, of course, have a lot on the SDK, we have a lot on IBC, but we even dive into Cosmos.js and things like front end and back end. Keep this in mind when you're trying out your applications, just to get everyone started. And the good thing is, if you are ambitious with your program, you can always find more people to join your team, just because you're already in touch with a bunch of people that have a similar experience and at least a very similar interest area.
Just to expand a little bit on that, so most of the like people I know in Cosmos are like very, very supportive. So if you have a cool idea, I think, and if you reach out to like most of the devs out there, they would be like more than happy or like glad to like help you out. So it's all about like having a good idea and then like expanding or building on top of that. And just like another quick point on hackathon, what you were saying, Cito, before. So hackathons, like in my opinion, are like this huge, great opportunity, because if you look even in the past, like great projects like Osmosis have come out of hackathons. So like participating in them and like building something cool is, I think goes like it goes a long way.
I think there's a unique opportunity in this cohort. I think because its size is larger, and there are some challenges associated with that, but I think there's also a lot of benefits. When the core sizes were smaller, it was like harder to form a team with the members that were active because there were only so many, and they have other commitments and etc. Because I did contact some of them later. So I think with a larger size of cohort, you will be more likely to find people that are interested on the same topics as you, and that you might want to collaborate with because you've interacted with them during the course.
And just because I can't resist, let's not forget about the ICF Builders program. So there, if you want to build on Cosmos, Google ICF Builders program. You will find a lot of people that are super interested in new projects, and that will help you kind of get off the ground if you do need help with resources and ideas and all of those things, intricacies that you have to get into when you start blockchain entrepreneurship. So those guys are great, and they have been helping a lot get projects off the ground and get them running so that they can join the ecosystem and continue to grow.
I guess the the academy is right now available in English, right? Do you also plan in the future maybe to, I don't know if that's already the case, but do you also have other languages, and like do you maybe plan to do that in the future? Or?
Currently still only in English available, but yes, the idea has been floating around the room, of course, for a while already. Whether we don't, since the material is available, want to make a little bit of more language availability. Hopefully some exciting news coming down the pipeline in the future, because even though most of the people in the blockchain space communicate and work in English, of course we want to be as inclusive as possible and want to kind of reach the Cosmos universe throughout the planet.
I also wanted to ask about, you mentioned that earlier about like, how do you reach those people, right? And Serdar was sharing that he heard about it through the secret community, secret network, which I think is also in the spirit of Cosmos, you know, that all these like sovereign app chains and teams, that they all in the end of the day aligned that, you know, this is an ecosystem that we're part of. But how do you reach potential students? Like, is that all organic right now, or how do you like promote the program, I guess?
Yeah, partially organic is what we have been seeing, because yes, of course, we always ask people survey questions of how did you hear about this, but we can also rely on good support from the ecosystem to spread the news. There are some campaigns. There is a landing page where people can sign up to kind of receive regular updates, because sometimes the timing of one cohort might just not fit because of work or whatever else is going on in life. But they can put themselves on a newsletter, and we'll let them know whenever new cohorts come up and share information on how to prep for the screening test and all of those things. So it's a little bit a mix of both. We do like that the ecosystem does react very well to organic promotion, because I think it shows how strong it is and how strong the sense of community is, and that the community overall is very embracing for new people to join.
Yeah, exactly. I think even right now there's a hackathon going on Secret, and I guess if the viewers are curious, they can also go learn about that. But even during the hackathon, I've seen Academy mentioned twice or two or three times. Yeah, I think although it's not related to the spirit of the hackathon because it's a Cosmosm thing, people are still people that are onboarded to Cosmos through Secret also find out about these initiatives. So you are completely right. This is in the spirit of, you know, these app chains bringing people to the whole ecosystem.
Also, there was a question on YouTube. Someone had asked, like, how do you onboard developers who are not looking into this question? The Web2 developers, basically. Like, how do you target them into like Cosmos?
Of course, those are always a little bit more difficult to reach, just because it's easier if somebody is looking for the words blockchain and Cosmos, that they end up on the landing page on the Academy or the general developer portal. We try to reach out to as many Web2 communities as we can, trying to just get more different backgrounds into the ecosystem, because we do think it's very valuable to kind of have different mindsets on board. But it's usually a little more difficult to get Web2 people, especially if they haven't discovered that interest in blockchain per se yet, into the Academy. But we always try to make an effort, because we do want to strive for diversity in all regards. So sometimes it's just using more traditional communication channels than the ones that Web3 people are more prone to. So rather not Discord or Telegram, but instead a little more LinkedIn and email comms. But yeah, we're always striving to get everyone that wants to and that's open to and that has been looking into it onto the program and offer them the opportunity.
In my personal opinion, I think partnering up with universities is like a very, very good option to like onboard people who might like not know about like blockchain as much as like the actual blockchain developers, but like really find it interesting. So this is something maybe in the future that like we could think as like as a way of like expanding beyond just like Web3 developers.
And definitely a lot on reaching out to Web2 communities is a little bit of a tell others that you know exercise.
Yeah.
Because yes, we've had people from universities join, and it's always interesting also in other programs. There have been students around that I've known for 5 years already, to see where they started off, even some that said, this is what got me into developing at all. I was so not prepared for the program, but afterwards I became a developer, that are coming from university backgrounds or are still college students and go, oh, this is for free. I want to try this out. I have a little bit of a semester break. I can invest the time. And then usually I always come around and say, hey, just in case we now have this program running, you might want to check it out and maybe want to spread the word around to Web2 devs that you know, just to kind of make it more inclusive. And I think sometimes it's difficult for them to figure out exactly how the dynamics in the communities in the blockchain space work. But overall, and this is also my personal experience, everybody is always very helpful and very open. And usually once you go, hi, I'm new, I don't know anything, everybody embraces your not knowing anything and gives you helpful tips of where you can go next and what you can try out and what might be an interesting thing for you to explore.
So I think the next cohort starts May 18th to July 6th.
Exactly.
And people can apply until May 8th. So there's still another week and a half, almost 2 weeks. You already mentioned that there's a screening process. So I guess if anybody's listening right now or watching this in the replay and they want to sign up for that, they would first have to go to that to do that screening, right? Like what is that? How long does that take? And yeah, what are the basic criteria to be considered for the program?
Okay, so since we only have limited spaces, even though we would like to offer a place for everybody, you go to academy.interchain.io. There is a landing page. You sign up. As soon as you sign up, you'll receive an email on where to find a screening test. It's a developer screening test on HackerRank, built out of multiple choice questions and open coding questions, available in a diverse number of languages. So no, you don't have to be a Go developer to do it. Once you go into the screening test, so to say, we now have set the time limit at 120 minutes. It shouldn't take you 120 minutes, but before you hit start, make sure you have about 120 minutes without anyone disrupting your concentration. Then you just dive in, do the screening test as best as you can. You do not have to be perfect to join the academy. We have a little bit of a threshold, just in an educational perspective of this is what you really need to know to be able to follow the course. Because as I said, we don't want to set you up for failure. We want to set you up for success. And then once you finish the HackerRank screening test, you submit it. It will close on May 8th. So if you're listening to this and you think the academy is a good idea for you, go and take the screening test. No, you don't have to prep a bunch of things. It will just test your general knowledge on development and how you in general approach developer questions and tasks to kind of assume, okay, is this working or not? If you submit by May 8th, and we're talking 11:59 p.m. UTC, just in case anybody was wondering. We will then close the screening test, and roughly about a week later, you should have already your email in your inbox. You're accepted, or we're sad, but we cannot let you go join the program. If you're accepted to the program, but for any reason you cannot work the dates, there might be another cohort starting at one point. So we will definitely keep track of those people. If you are accepted and you have time and you join the program, you will then a couple of days later be onboarded, receive some initial material to already get you prepped, get access to the support channels and all of the other exciting stuff. And then by May 18th, we're launching the cohort, and it's let's dive into all Cosmos. As you said, 7 weeks. After the 7 weeks finish, you are not required to take the final exam, but we offer it to everyone, and you're highly encouraged, because if you submit a final exam, which consists of a project that you will submit, and then gets evaluated by your expert instructors. So everyone that you see in the support channels, and you do well, then you get a little certificate that also demonstrates that you took the course and that you are a trained developer, which then sometimes does help when you are applying for jobs. It doesn't mean that once you're done with your final exam, you never hear from us ever again, because you're already on the Discord server for Cosmos, for the Cosmos SDK, and you get to join all the other alumni and stay in touch with them, and we'll keep on reaching out to everyone saying, hey, this hackathon is happening, this is something exciting, there's a job opportunity here. So we generally keep in touch with our alumni, even if it's years later, and are always interested to seeing where their journey kind of ends up and what they do next.
I kind of want to do the screening thing myself, just to understand where I personally
Go for it.
where I stand. You know, I have zero technical background, so I think I will probably give up after 5 minutes. but yeah, I want to see how, you know, what it is. So definitely cool. I also dropped the link right now in the stream for people that are interested to join. You said so that there's one. Are there more cohorts planned for this year, or how do you normally like plan that in advance?
So last year we did 3. We always try to kind of make sure that we are available with enough resources so that we can support the students. This year, currently, the 4th cohort is the only one already set in stone. Everything else is something that we will kind of have to see how it develops. B9up is definitely very interested in continuing running cohorts, just because the program has been very successful also on the metrics side of thing. It depends a little bit on how we set up and how the ecosystem keeps on growing. The demand that is there, the higher the demand, the more, of course, we're inclined in running more cohorts. But if you want to really make sure that this year you end up in a cohort, I would definitely encourage you to take the screening test now, just because we cannot promise what might happen after this cohort finishes.
Final question from my side. What is the chances? I guess, Serda, you're the perfect example, because you went through it and then you landed a job at the ICF. But I think some people might be like scared to do it because they don't know what is actually the chance to land a job after that, right? So how did that happen? Like, did you just see that there was a job opening at the ICF and you applied for it, or do you also get access to or like approach maybe from one of the mentors, one of the experts to be onboarded, or how does that work? And what's the conversion? I don't know if you have numbers for that, but it would be cool.
Right. So I guess for me, what happened was that some of the job postings are all over the place, but in the Academy's one of the channels, they've posted some job listings. Say, you know, you might want to apply. Actually, that's where I saw it. So I just went and so, hey, this one looks like it fits my previous experience. Plus, and now I know all the stuff about IBC. So I applied for it and I got it. So the reason it was for that probably wasn't solely the Academy, right? But what is nice about the Academy is that when you are going through interviews, which took me like a whole month of interviews, so it was like 4 weeks of interviews. Like there was like 4 rounds, I think, and each week we would schedule a call. So in the like I guess technical interview about how much I know about IBC, most of that knowledge I acquired in the Academy. Some of the stuff was obviously my initiative. So what happened was that we did something on the Academy and I didn't really understand how it worked. So I asked the mentors and I got the responses from there. And actually looking back, like that information I got from the mentors would be very difficult to find anywhere in the docs. Like the only way for me to know that was actually to ask that. And the whole interview was basically about all the stuff that I asked to the mentors back then. So it was really like, so I had a deep understanding of like how IBC actually worked in the technical interview. I think that really helped me get the job. Other than that, yeah, my past experience. So I think this course will help you land a job like with very high likelihood if you have past experience either in Web 2 or Web 3, doesn't matter. If you have some experience to begin with, plus this course will make you much more likely to land the job against other people who might apply for the same job, because it will just show that you know much more about Cosmos and how it works. because in the interviews they can't just get into the most cutting edge stuff. They have to talk about the more basic stuff that you learn in the academy at that stage. Yeah.
And the good thing is, just because we of course work very closely with all of the core contributors in the ecosystem, they know if someone with a certificate appears in a job interview, there is a certain understanding on the Interchain stack that they bring with them. And it's guaranteed, because no, we don't do favorites with the final exam. You really have to earn it. And then you can say, yeah, no, I did the course, I did the final exam, I graduated. And that's already sometimes just what you need to get a foot in the door.
Do you also, are there also people that went on to build their own projects right away, or?
There are some, because we have been keeping up with them on the alumni channel. We encourage them to kind of share what they're doing. There are some that went on to do their projects by themselves. I also heard of a couple that kind of found kindred spirits in their cohort and they teamed up to do their projects. So yeah, we have developers that just join by hiring. We have some that join by being their own entrepreneur and developing their own project just because of their experience that they have with the stack and with the tools. And sometimes in those programs you go like, I think this would be a good idea and this is something missing. And we always encourage that, because that's what an ecosystem lives off.
I agree, yeah. Maybe as we wrap it up, what's your outlook for Cosmos? Like maybe as an ecosystem, not just the academy. I think we talked about that a lot. But what's your outlook for Cosmos? What are you guys mostly excited about this year? Maybe Sadar, I think you as an IBC engineer are probably bullish on IBC adoption, I guess. Or what's your Cosmos?
Yeah, I'm extremely bullish on IBC adoption. Actually, before I started working in the IBC team, I was less bullish on IBC, because now I see all the background things that like what teams are actually trying to build on IBC and new stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming up, I think, from different people that use IBC in very innovative ways. So there is some stuff that has to do with USDC and like the way it would communicate with other chains through IBC, but not like a traditional blockchain. Like there's a lot of interesting ideas happening in the background, and teams are building interesting things. So I'm extremely bullish on IBC now. I like to see IBC go into more ecosystems for sure to connect Cosmos through that. Though I don't really understand where the development for that is at the moment, because I'm also quite new to the IBC team. It hasn't even been a month since I started, actually. But yeah. So yeah, I'm super bullish on IBC. But overall, Cosmos, I think, is going to do well, because I just see all the development activity increase and increase. So I think this is a very good sign.
I also want to make a really quick point on that subject. So like many people are dissuaded because of like a lot of drama that happens in Cosmos, but Cosmos has like withstanded a lot of it in the past, and I think it will continue to do so in the foreseeable future. So just like a word out there to like people who want to join the ecosystem, that please don't be dissuaded by what's happening, and like try to like learn how to focus and build in the middle of this noise. Because like Cosmos indeed is a very, very rewarding ecosystem.
Yeah, honestly, I also made a tweet about this earlier today. I think for us cosmonauts that are really deep in the ecosystem, and like we get drama on pretty much every second governance proposal on Cosmos. But I think actually, if you zoom out and you look also into other ecosystems, I think there's drama anywhere, right? So I think this is not a Cosmos specific thing. And like, I think DPS also shows that, the community is alive and the community cares. So I personally think like the drama is actually not that bad as some people think, even though of course it can, get some people scared that want to enter the ecosystem, but then the first interaction they have is maybe an endless thread with Jacob on Twitter, and then they get scared. But yeah, I think overall Cosmos is on very good rails, and like Serdar said, IBC adoption is amazing. We're also seeing IBC adoption outside of Cosmos now, which is really cool. So yeah, maybe any final word, Sitlali, from your side, and then I think we can maybe see if there's some questions that we haven't answered yet. But yeah, I'll look through some questions, and if you want to share anything, then please.
Sure. From the point where I started working with Cosmos till today, what I do see is it keeps on expanding and the diversity in the ecosystem keeps on rising. It's very lively, and you can rely on a stack being there that is documented, which, to be honest, in the blockchain space is also, it can be a challenge. You have exciting things like IBC happening. I'm also a big IBC fan, but don't tell anyone because you're not supposed to have favorite children. But overall, you can rely on a nice tool stack, and the Interchain stack is amazing to work with. I think we're getting into a phase from the ecosystem expanding and getting kind of moving and getting all the tools that you need and all the tech stack out that you need to develop into a very exciting phase in Cosmos, where suddenly very interesting projects are appearing that maybe nobody ever thought of, and use cases that no one has tackled yet. So I'm super excited to also see how it's going to go with the different tech releases, because I know there are some coming down the pipeline. And I think it's a very exciting time to join Cosmos overall.
Agree on that. And Galatasaray CA is saying the whole community got angry at Algorand Foundation for donating money to a bike club in regards to the drama thing. So I don't know, but you see, like, there's drama anywhere. So I think it's it's part of the game.
I think it's inherent when you put more than two people in one room, whether it's a virtual one or a physical one, some form of confrontation might arise. But I always like to think confrontation and disagreement is a good thing, because it means there is some form of debate going on, and nothing lives very long if everybody just goes like, yes, this is all wonderful. So drama is part of everything. And it's sometimes even funny to look at it.
I agree. Yeah. Does the Academy have a Twitter handle, or what's the best way to like get information? I guess the website, but is there any other like social?
I would say definitely the website. If you're more of a Twitter person, feel free to check out the ICF Twitter handle. Generally, you will see a bunch of information there posted. There is also some information in Medium. If you are already part of the Discord server from Cosmos, also there, post questions away, because us and everything around the core contributors in ICF are very well connected. So they, in the worst case, will forward you to a B9 Lab address. But yeah, at Interchain.io on Twitter. YouTube, you can follow through, Google it in the worst case, but you will find all the information that is really important on the website, and also some contact form to the team behind the Academy. And we're always happy to receive questions.
Perfect. I think this was very, very helpful. I also think some people already applied as we did the stream. Thank you so much. This was very cool. And yeah, any follow-ups, check out the website, and as Sitali is saying, go visit the Interchain_IO handle on Twitter for more info. Ali, any final words?
No, I think I'm good. No, I think I'm good. Just like a quick last comment. Please do apply for this program. It's really, really helpful. And then also don't hesitate to like reach out for any questions, not just like common PFT, but also like Cosmos SDK or IBC. Happy to help you navigate through the program.
Amazing. So yeah, thank you so much. Maybe we can do this in a couple of months again. And also, like, everyone in chat, if like you want to hear more of these kind of developer builder focused live streams, I think they can be very helpful. Also for me, because I'm not even technical, but I always learn from these conversations. So if that's what you want, drop a message under this video, drop a comment, share this on Twitter also with everybody. We got great feedback so far. Also, B9 Lab handle is in the house. So yeah, cheers everybody. This was really cool. We'll keep in touch. See you.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.